So I've been asked recently, what are some films that I find underrated? And well, underrated is an objective term because it's one of, as we know, underrated in the realm of film is a film is good, but nobody really talks about it. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and give off my list. I just said go ahead twice. That's funny. I'm gonna give my list of films that I never hear people talk about, but I enjoy so much. Now, I'm not. This is not a review. I'm not gonna go into every detail about every film because we'll be sitting here all day. This is just 5 films that I think people don't talk about. We'll start out with number 5. Number 5 is Jennifer's Body. Jennifer's Body. It's one that it's well written, but it's not a scary film. As we know, it's supposed to be a horror film, but it's not scary. It's overly dramatic at times, and it's overly hilarious at times. But overall, I think it's an enjoyable film, and I think I think they mistook what the purpose of the film was, and it's very self-aware in itself. But yeah, that's number 5, Jennifer's Body. Number 4 on this list may be very controversial, but I'm gonna go with Preservation. It's a survival film, and it takes place out in the woods, and you can already tell it is a little cliche, and by no means is it a perfect movie, but it's one that I had a blast with. I've watched it, I think, at least 3 or 4 times by now, and every time I've had a blast with it, and I recognize it for its many flaws. There wasn't a whole lot of exposition, and I felt like in the middle, it did feel there were some very disappointing things that would happen in the middle. I'm not going to spoil it for anybody in case you want to check it out, but overall, I thought it was a fun movie. Not a great movie. It may not even be a good movie, but I feel like it deserves more attention. And yeah, that's number 4, Preservation. Number 3 on this list. This one I find to be comedic gold, and that is Detention. Detention stars Josh Hutcherson in it, and it's a slasher film, but it's very tongue-in-cheek, and it's damn near perfect. It is so funny. It is so over the top that I've watched this movie at least 50 times in the last couple months. It is just, it's gold is what it is. I may be praising it just a little bit too much, but be sure to check it out. Highly underrated film, highly underrated horror film / comedy film. Check it out. Tell me what you think of it. Number 2 is Would You Rather, starring Brittany Snow. This movie is incredible. The only reason I heard about it, well, let's say that I was on the internet, and let's say that Sasha Grey was a factor and all, and well then, you can kind of guess what all went on. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but that's how I stumbled across this film. And I did see it one other time on Netflix. I did see it in the search menu, but I didn't really pay much attention to it because I thought it's probably just some shitty horror film. But my little event involving Sasha Grey and me on the computer, I stumbled upon this and I was impressed. It was incredible. Now we got a couple honorable mentions that didn't quite make the list. We got Treehouse, we got Venom, All Cheerleaders Die, and Slither. And they didn't quite make the list because I feel like they are talked about a little bit more than these films I'm talking about, maybe other than Treehouse, but I would have rather just put that on the honorable mentions just because I can. Oh well, that's just my personal opinion, but didn't make the list. Oh well, doesn't mean they're bad films, but let's move on to number 1. Number 1 is Death Sentence. This is not a horror movie, it's a thriller. This film is one of my all-time favorites. Kevin Bacon is in it, John Goodman, Kelly Preston, and some other people. I don't know the rest of the people, I just know those 3. It is just fantastic. The cinematography is fantastic. The storyline, fantastic. The action, fantastic. I don't get why people hate on this movie. I guess it's because they don't like thrillers. You can go on any critic's website and find nothing but negative things. I think it has like a 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. I don't get it. I don't get it at all. I think it's not a perfect movie by any means. It does get in the middle. It does get a little slow at times, but then it starts picking up. It doesn't go that slow for that long. There's a brief about 20 or 30 minutes where it doesn't feel like anything is really happening, but other than that, it's a fantastic film. I just recently watched it again, and it's so grim, so gritty. The violence is raw as fuck. You can't get any better than that. It's probably the best action / thriller film. Probably my favorite one. Yeah. But yes, that finishes off my list of underrated films. I hope everybody enjoyed. What are some of your favorite films that don't get talked about a whole lot? Leave it in the comments if you'd like. Make sure to hit that like and subscribe button, and we're out.